Hello, guys. My name is Julia. I'm 21 now, but the story that I'm going to tell you happened in the worst time that any person could live. And I don't mean during COVID 19 or quarantine or anything, I mean high school. Please, if you are in between 13 and 18, try not to do stupid things in high school. I know it's hard not to, but just try to do anything you can to be the least possible kind of stupid. So, peer pressure in high school is a thing. Whoever tells you that it's a myth and says you just need to have a strong mind is either lying to you or they were homeschooled. Everybody wants to have something or be recognized for whatever that thing is. Some people want to be popular, others want to be funny or athletic. These are people that are just wanting to have friends. Everybody wants something and somewhere to fit. For me, it was simple. I just wanted to be noticed by this guy named Brad. Brad was super cute, and I had a huge crush on him. He was part of the drama club and was one of the most popular guys at school, kind of like Zac Efron in High School Musical. It's really weird that somebody from drama was so popular, but you just needed to be around him to understand why everybody wanted to be him. He was super tall, had really nice curly hair and greenish eyes. Oh, he was gorgeous. He looked like he was some Quicksilver surfing billboard model. God certainly had his favorites, and I'm sure Brad was one of them. On the other hand, I couldn't be more common. If there was a word that described me at the time, what do you think it would be? Smart? Funny? Nice? No. Average. Average was me. Maybe even low self-esteem. Yeah, that was kind of a good call too. But by that time, it was still impossible in my mind to think a guy like him would be with somebody as common as me. Still, what started as a crush became an obsession with Brad. The only thing I remember was talking to my friends about him. I dreamed about him all the time, and once I dreamed that he proposed to me. And then I dreamed about it again, and every proposal after that was more elaborate than the other. Once Brad proposed to me on some Brazilian beach, and the next night when I was dreaming, he did it by skydiving from the Swiss Alps with a flag tied to his ankle that said, "Will you marry me, Julia?" I woke up from that dream crying because it felt like it was so real, and I couldn't believe that he took all that time planning for that special day. Then it took me a few minutes to realize that it was, in fact, just a dream. What can I say? I was stupid and in love. Trying to get his attention became my number one priority. I did everything you could possibly imagine to achieve it. I tried to say hi to him several times, but he never seemed to remember who I was. I used to dress a little bit slutty to see if I could get a reaction out of him, but that didn't work either. I even waited outside of his classroom holding a bunch of books, hoping that he'd come out and bump into me like some stupid teenage movie. You know, that magic moment where the guy helps the protagonist girl pick up her books and for a few seconds they look in each other's eyes and now you know that they're both in love? Well, that day, Brad left the classroom by the other door. Nothing that I tried to do worked. I know you might be thinking, why would you do that for a man? Or like, were you okay? The answer to that was I was really stupid. I was 16. My high school friends and the idea of being with Brad was all that I really cared about. My dad is a broker, and so he is never around, and my mom basically took care of my younger brothers. Being at home was crazy because I always had to do chores. The only time I could be by myself was at school, and that's why Brad was so important to me back then. I know you shouldn't put your happiness over somebody else's shoulders, and it's worse if that person doesn't even know who you are. Looking at it in retrospect, I was just a fan. I was a groupie. Realizing that isn't really easy for me to say, but it's true. One day I was following him while he was talking to his friends. Okay, little parentheses here. I know that everything I did was wrong and I'm not proud of it. And please, if you feel somehow like this is really not okay, then just stop. Like, you don't have to keep listening to this. I don't need a comment saying how I should get some help. I was young and I was really obsessed with this guy. And yeah, I turned into a creepy little stalker. Don't do that. And I don't need to hear your hate. But anyways, I'm going to keep going with the story. So I was following him. And he was talking about a girl that he had a crush on. And I almost freaked out when I heard it. He said that this girl was so beautiful and perfect and all he wanted to do was meet her and have kids with her. Those were not like the exact words that he used, but you get the idea. And he also said the most beautiful thing that she had were her lips. I stayed close to them to find out the name of the girl. A friend asked him and Brad answered Kylie Jenner as if she was like his neighbor and not some super famous girl. Knowing that information made me happy for the first time because I knew that he liked a girl. And so I stalked Kylie Jenner's Instagram feed, and that day I went shopping with my friends and I bought everything that looked like something Kylie would wear. And then I changed my clothes to look like her. If Brad wanted to be with a Kylie, I would do everything I could to turn myself into Kylie. My plan was working out so far. There was just one thing that I needed to do to really look like Kylie. I needed to have bigger lips. Mine were super thin. I Googled how to have lips like hers, and I found out about something called the hashtag Kylie Jenner challenge. It was something that started as a prank on Twitter and then somehow became super popular all around the world. The challenge was really easy. All you needed was a shot glass, you'd put your lips in it, suck all the air inside, and hold it for a minute. I don't know why or how, but I guess doing that made your lips look bigger for a few minutes. It was perfect for what I wanted. I took a shot glass from my parents' minibar and I hid it in my backpack. And that way it would be with me when I went to school. I dressed up in my Kylie outfit and off I went. As soon as I noticed Brad was talking with his friends, I took out the glass and sucked out all the air. After my lips were ready, I walked towards him and he stared at me for a few seconds. I knew the plan was working. He left his friends to talk to me and then he asked me out. I tried to play it cool, but I was totally dying inside. We agreed to go get something to eat after class. I couldn't even pay attention to my classes that day. I even got in trouble and totally got scolded by one of my teachers for it, but I didn't care. All I could think about was my date with Brad. Before leaving school, I went to the bathroom. I did the glass trick again, so my lips looked perfect for him to kiss them. Then he was waiting for me outside his car. We both got in and he drove over to a pizza place near school. We sat at a table and started talking about ourselves. In the beginning, he was really excited, but the more time passed, the more his face changed. I noticed that my lips were getting smaller, so I went to the bathroom and did the glass trick again. I was so nervous that I dropped the glass before doing it. Everything was ruined. After a few minutes trying to figure out what to do, I decided to go out with my normal lips. He stared at me as if there was something missing from my face, but he didn't say anything about it. However, his attitude totally changed. We ate pizza and then he drove me home. We didn't talk at all the whole way back. Not a word. I was devastated. After we got home, I talked with my mom and tried to convince her that I needed lip surgery, which isn't a really, real surgery. It's just injections of fillers and hyaluronic acid, and that would make my lips look more voluminous. My mom, I guess, had already been getting Botox injections, and she didn't think that it was super dangerous, and so she said that I could. The next day, we went to a beauty center to do the surgery. One of the receptionists gave me a board with a form I needed to fill out with any allergies I had. I didn't want anything to stop me from doing this, so I wrote down that I had no allergies. A few minutes later, the doctor started the procedure, and within 15 minutes, I could already see the results. But later that night, I started to feel my lips burning. They were huge. They swelled up to the size of an apple on my face. I thought that maybe it was normal, and so I just didn't pay attention to it. But the next morning, my lips were hurting so bad, and they even started to crack, literally like they were breaking. I was having a horrible allergic reaction. I went to the bathroom and I saw my face, and it was awful. Both lips literally looked like they were giant Twizzlers. I started crying and my mom heard me and she took me to the hospital, seeing that my face was super messed up. The doctor hospitalized me and gave me a lot of medication so I could calm down and it would soothe the reaction and the pain. I was sedated for several hours. It was just too much to bear. The doctor told me that I was really lucky and that an allergic reaction like that could be bad enough to end somebody's life. He wanted to know what happened, and so he started interrogating me and I couldn't contain myself. I explained everything to him in tears. And when I say everything, I mean it. I told him about Brad, about Kylie, my plan, the glass, the surgery, all of it. He was shocked after hearing that, but I needed to let it out. I needed someone to tell him how bad I was feeling. The doctor recommended that I go see a psychiatrist. He referred me to a friend of his who could help me out. This is the most important part of my story. After months of therapy with Dr. Francis, I could finally understand everything that was happening to me. I was ignoring so many problems with myself, and I had a total lack of self-esteem. And it was bigger than my lips. I felt like I needed someone's attention and approval to feel loved. It hasn't been easy, and it's been a really long way to find out what was making me do all those weird things. But thanks to the therapy, I'm now somebody completely different. Somebody who doesn't need approval from everybody else to feel complete. I'm not proud of the beginning of this story, nor what I've done. However, I am super proud of what I've achieved, and that's why I'm telling this story to you guys. I know a lot of you out there probably feel like I did before, and maybe this is in time to prevent you from making a big mistake. I hope you got something out of this story. Thanks for listening.